Long before skyscrapers, smartphones, and superpowers, there existed an empire so powerful and advanced that many historians believe it quietly built the foundation of our modern world. Yet today, most people don't even remember its name. This was not Rome, not Greece, not Egypt. It was the empire that time tried to erase, the forgotten empire that shaped modern civilization, the Sumerians. The year is 4000 BC. Humanity is still learning to plant crops, build homes, and form small communities. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, one civilization begins building cities with temples that touch the sky, writing down laws, inventing the wheel, studying the stars, and creating organized systems of trade that stretched across continents. How did they do it? Who taught them? And why did their empire vanish so mysteriously? The story of the Sumerians begins in a place called Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Today, that's modern-day Iraq. But thousands of years ago, it was the cradle of civilization, the birthplace of cities, and the foundation of the world as we know it. The Sumerians built some of the first true cities in human history: Uruk, Lagash, and Eridu. These were not small villages made of mud huts. They were organized, advanced societies with roads, schools, marketplaces, and towering temples that dominated the skyline. At the heart of every city stood a massive structure known as a ziggurat, a pyramid-like temple built for their gods. These temples were architectural wonders, constructed long before Egypt's pyramids. They reached for the heavens, symbolizing the Sumerians' connection to the divine. They believed the gods lived among them, watching over their cities and guiding their destiny. But what if the gods they worshipped weren't just symbols of faith, but memories of something far greater? The Sumerians weren't just spiritual, they were practical geniuses. They gave the world its first known written language, cuneiform. By pressing symbols into wet clay tablets, they recorded trade, laws, and stories. With this invention, memory became eternal. For the first time in history, knowledge could outlive its creators. But this raises a question. How did knowledge appear so suddenly, as if someone flipped a switch in human history? They invented the wheel, transforming trade and travel forever. They developed mathematics based on the number 60, which is why we have 60 minutes in an hour and 360 degrees in a circle today. They divided time, mapped the stars, and created one of the first calendars to predict seasons for farming. In nearly every way, they brought order to the chaos of early human life. Yet even with all their brilliance, something about their sudden rise still puzzles historians to this day. The Sumerians themselves claimed they were taught by beings who came from the sky, gods they called the Anunnaki. According to their texts, these gods descended to earth and shared their wisdom, giving humanity kingship and knowledge. Some believe these were just myths, stories meant to explain the unknown. But what if the Sumerians were recording events they actually witnessed, encounters that changed human destiny forever? Whether divine or human, their knowledge changed everything. The Sumerians built schools to teach reading and writing. They established courts of law, creating one of the first justice systems. They organized governments, formed armies, and traded goods across vast distances. Their cities became centers of culture, wealth, and science. They turned survival into civilization. But life wasn't easy. The same rivers that gave them life also brought destruction through floods. Rival city-states fought for power, claiming their gods were superior. Yet these conflicts only pushed them to grow stronger, to develop better defenses, smarter strategies, and more efficient systems of rule. Through struggle, they evolved. Then came a man who would change everything, Sargon of Akkad. Around 2300 BC, he united the Sumerian cities under one empire, the Akkadian Empire, the first in human history. For the first time, humanity witnessed what it meant to live under a single ruler, sharing a language, laws, and trade routes stretching across the ancient world. The Sumerian influence spread far beyond Mesopotamia, shaping cultures that would follow for thousands of years. But here's the twist. The Sumerians may have vanished, yet they never truly disappeared. No empire lasts forever. The Sumerians faced droughts, invasions, and internal collapse. The rivers that once gave them life shifted course, turning fertile fields into desert. Their once great cities fell into ruin, and their language faded into silence. Bit by bit, they were erased from memory until they were rediscovered thousands of years later, buried beneath the sands of Iraq. Even in ruin, the Sumerians refused to die. Their ideas lived on through the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Persians, and the Greeks. Babylon's laws, astronomy, and architecture were born from Sumerian thought. Greek philosophers built on their mathematics and cosmology. Even the stories found in religious texts, creation, the Great Flood, the gods of heaven and earth, all echo ancient Sumerian writings like the Epic of Gilgamesh. That story, written long before the Bible, tells of a massive flood sent by the gods, a man chosen to survive, and a new beginning for humanity. Centuries later, that same story appears in other cultures around the world. Coincidence? Or could it mean that all of humanity's oldest stories trace back to this single forgotten empire? Thousands of clay tablets recovered from ancient Sumerian cities show how obsessed they were with knowledge. They wrote about everything: science, politics, trade, music, and even love. One tablet records a father's advice to his son, telling him to be kind, honest, and hardworking. Despite the thousands of years that separate us, their words feel familiar, almost modern. They were people like us, with dreams, fears, and questions about life in the universe. Isn't it strange that in their words, we can still hear the heartbeat of our own world? We may live in a world of technology and machines, but we are still walking the path the Sumerians paved. When you check the time, write in a notebook, study the stars, or live by a 7-day week, you're using systems they created. They divided time into days, hours, and minutes. They connected human life to the rhythm of the cosmos. And maybe, just maybe, they knew something about humanity's origins that we've forgotten. Their fall remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Some say climate change destroyed their farmlands. Others blame endless wars or foreign invasions. Some believe the gods they worshipped abandoned them. Whatever the cause, their empire vanished. Their temples crumbled, their cities turned to dust, and for thousands of years, no one even knew they existed. Then, in the 1800s, archaeologists uncovered strange clay tablets while digging in southern Iraq. Those tablets told a story that shocked the world. Civilization did not begin with Egypt or Greece. It began with Sumer. The forgotten empire was, in truth, the very foundation of everything that came after. They were the first to write, to calculate, to govern, to build cities, and to dream of reaching the heavens. They were the architects of our reality. Every government system, every scientific discovery, every law and innovation traces its roots back to the spark they ignited. And perhaps, without realizing it, we are still living in the world they imagined. Maybe that's the real lesson of the Sumerians, not that they were gods or chosen people, but that human beings, when united by curiosity and purpose, can create miracles. They proved that progress is not magic. It's the result of knowledge shared, generation after generation. They turned chaos into order, and from their vision, civilization was born. The Sumerians may have been forgotten by history for thousands of years, but their fingerprints are still everywhere. They live in our languages, our calendars, our cities, and our laws. They are the silent ancestors of every modern nation, and perhaps that's the greatest legacy of all, to build something so enduring that even time itself cannot erase it. The Sumerians were the first to show us what it means to be human. They dreamed, built, failed, and rose again. Their story reminds us that no empire truly dies as long as its ideas live on. So the next time you look at the stars, the next time you measure time, or the next time you walk through a city filled with lights and sound, remember them. Remember the empire that gave birth to it all, the forgotten empire that shaped modern civilization. And as we look back on the forgotten empire that built the foundation of our world, one question remains: how much of our future still lies hidden in their past? If this story made you think, inspired you, or opened your eyes to history in a new way, then don't let it end here. Hit that like button to help more people discover the truth buried beneath time. Subscribe so you never miss another journey into the mysteries that shaped our world, and share your thoughts in the comments. Because history isn't just something we study, it's something we're still writing together.